Many decades ago, I had a dream. But I never envisioned a corporation like this. This is beyond my dreams.
We had about 14 or 15 people.
We had 10.
We had a team, about a dozen team members.
We were in a pretty good place.
We definitely were successful.
We've helped a lot of people.
Felt good about our direction.
I think we had a lot of the great pieces in place.
Our companies were successful, we were driven, we were excited, we were motivated, always looking towards growth.
As we looked toward growth, we didn't have any problems with what was going on. Everything was going great. We were just looking at the next ways to grow and different lines of business we might want to offer.
We were in growth mode for both companies.
We were growing pretty significantly year over year.
We were looking to grow, and
We were going through some exciting times. We just moved into a new building, which we designed ourselves, and that was a dream come true for us. So we were going through an exciting phase of growth. But the universe had different plans.
Just like any other normal golf day. We got to the ninth hole.
Just a normal conversation like we would with anybody. Just say, hey, so what do you do?
They told me I did insurance and I was working with Bon Giovanni.
And I said, I'm looking to start a property and casualty insurance company. And he said, you should talk to my friend Trey.
So he said, yeah, set it up. So I thought it was going to be a meeting and they were going to kind of work together. He was going to help him get into P&C and that would kind of be it.
Trey and Chris came in together. I thought they both seemed pretty nice. They were pretty open, as was I.
The conversation was really genuine, and I realized that it wasn't trying to sell me, I wasn't trying to sell him, we were just having a genuine conversation.
I was not all that enthusiastic about meeting him and partnering with somebody who ran a wealth practice. My traditional thinking led me to believe like you can't partner with somebody who does the same thing as you because it's going to cause you to lose business. And I learned from him then and now that doesn't necessarily have to be the case.
I remember this specifically as we talked about Ty because he's a financial advisor, and obviously that's what Matt does, and I thought it was going to be a conflict. I didn't think there was any way that he wanted to do business with us because of that reason, and he said, no, I don't care. There's enough business to go around. They may even be able to help each other.
They seemed to be doing something similar to what we were doing.
We met, 3 or 4 times before we even decided to give FLP Insurance a shot.
As we started talking about we wanted to kind of launch it, we're like, well, we kind of did that 3 or 4 years ago. We can help you do the back end stuff. We'll hire someone together and we'll use your team to feed leads to that person and we'll figure out how we should own it together and we'll just see where it goes.
Everything that we wanted to accomplish and all of our goals and all of our values all aligned, so it made sense to try to do FLP Insurance together, and it became more evident the more we met.
As we started the FLP Insurance, we had some general conversations.
A lot of it wasn't even about FLP Insurance itself and how we were going to make it successful. A lot of our conversation was just a lot about life too, family and what we believed in, giving back to the community. It was interesting that the actual business aspect of FLP Insurance was almost secondary compared to everything else we were talking about.
There was never a discussion of merger.
There was no talk of merger at all.
I think the only discussion was they wanted to start an accounting and tax piece and I said, you're nuts.
But the universe had different plans.
I remember the impetus of the meeting being trying to solidify what we were going to do on the property and casualty business that we were working on together and really trying to figure out how we thought about business growth.
It's funny as we go through the meeting and we were, all of our values lined up and we had the same visions. It's almost like dating. You're like, I wonder if the other person's thinking this.
When we were coming back in from lunch, I was talking to Karen, and Karen's pretty quiet in the meeting. She didn't say a whole lot. She was there with me. I obviously generally do all the talking, so we're going through all these things and these guys are chiming in and we're at the whiteboard and agreeing on things. And Karen's not saying a whole lot, and we separated and came back in. I'm like, Karen, so what do you think is going on? And she goes, oh, I know what's going on.
She probably can see it.
Yeah, well, she was kind of at a back seat, right? She was kind of watching it play out. Like, is it crazy? So they're gonna come back in here. Is it crazy for me to kind of like say, like, we should probably figure this out? And
Distinctly remember you standing up by the whiteboard. You were talking about something, and I was in the corner and I interrupted you. I was like,
What exactly are we talking about?
Okay.
Talk about the moment where I felt like I knew this was going in that direction. It's when you're, not only the fact that your dream and your goals align with ours, but you were literally writing it the same way that I wrote it. And you're effort for these guys. This is what we should try to do. This is why we should try to do this. And it was just happening right there in front of us. And I just looked at Trey and started laughing. And that's when I looked at you and said, what are we talking about here? That's kind of the conversation.
And so we talked about not using how at the beginning to brainstorm. We brainstormed great. It all sounded awesome. And then it got to
How are we going to actually accomplish
it
this?
seemed pretty daunting. And I think there was just a pause of, okay, like you said, yes, you have the ring on, and you're like, yeah, it was fun getting engaged, but now I'm like, yeah, I don't know.
Honestly, I think all three of us at that point almost calling off the wedding during that meeting. I think finally convinced all of us that it was the right thing to do was the fact that the team was our number one focus. Mm-hmm. That was what we cared about most. Not that we're always great at articulating that for the people on our team, but that was in that room. Amongst all those things and all the reasons why you would merge, and people would normally think about merging about trying to make more money or, ego or whatever it was. For us, it was about team and the number of things that we could do with our teams.
I think one of the things that helped us get to the agreement of where we were going, we talked about growth and why grow, right? So that's one of the things. You merge and you'd already said it, like, people think we just want to grow and make more money, and we started to have that conversation, and it's really around, well, it's growth because we want to help more people. We want to help the right people. We want to help them with more things. We want to have our team have more growth opportunities. So I think the growth conversation really is where we kind of solidified how we all felt about why we were doing everything. We want to help more people, help the right people, and most importantly, we want to bring on team members and have them have a trajectory for growth. So I think that's kind of one of the things, besides the core values and things that we already agreed on, that was directionally really helped.
Pause, please. And that was only the beginning of a love story. They then had to share their excitement with the rest of us. For some, it was love at first sight, and for others, such as myself, it took a little bit more time to warm up. I may have even shed a few tears.
When I first heard about the merger, so I was actually very excited.
It was a little scary.
Well, I thought it was a good thing. I was excited.
I was scared.
It was a little abrupt.
I was excited.
Obviously, there was some uncertainty.
I think the overall sort of feeling was nervousness.
I was leery.
I thought it was exciting.
It really just made sense.
Worried.
Initially, I was hesitant, a little apprehensive, I think.
I was pretty excited.
Didn't really know what to think.
Excited.
I was a little bit worried.
It was a little scary, but mostly exciting.
I was kind of indifferent.
Oh, I was excited.
I was personally excited.
I was really excited.
I wasn't surprised.
I freaked out.
Kind of scared at first.
Sounded like something that would be exciting.
I was excited.
I was probably more shocked than anything else.
There were a wide range of emotions on our journey to becoming Nesso Group. From excitement to nervousness, chances are we all experienced some level of uncertainty along the way. I do believe that because our teams had developed such a level of trust and commitment to one another, that when this Nesso adventure began, we were able to find comfort knowing that we would grow through any of the unknowns together. Anytime you choose to blaze a trail and do something in a way that's never been done, you will definitely be faced with challenges. For us as a company, one of our very first milestone challenges was finding the name that would represent who we were going to be together, as well as still honoring what came before.
There was so much good intention behind why we were doing what we were doing. And there was a lot of passion. They were doing this because of people, and people was the center focus. It was always brought back to people and how much we care about our team.
It was truly dynamic, collaborative conversation that day.
And I think one of the big things that I continue to remember was I was thinking in my mind, how do we make sure that these partners, as they're giving up their brand, how do they feel like they never gave anything up, but they actually got more out of it?
roll into this little hotel and grab a little bite to eat.
Sayla and I are sitting there and we look at each other and we're like, I think we can get this. Like, I think we can come back with something tomorrow.
And I'll tell you, it's like every good movie, you know, the characters just going for it. And I think we hit this point and I was like, it's just not there. I'm just not getting there. Like, I'm hitting a wall, you know, the buzz is now faded. And Kagan had this great idea. He said, let's bring the word group into this conversation. As soon as we started tapping into family and connectedness and together, and then we were able to step into the Italian side of that and bring in some of the legacy, it was like magic. And we were like, Nesso Group, Nesso Group, Nesso Group. We held our breath going, what are they gonna think if we bring this to them the next day? The anticipation was like totally palatable in the room. And we were able to walk them through and present to them Nesso.
We still felt like there was a missing part. There was like this missing piece, and you know, they continued to in the meeting. They continued to talk about this foundation that they wanted to start. There was a connection that needed to be made, and I think it was for the Bongiovanni family to understand that if they were going to agree to this, that the legacy was going to continue. And if we would have just said that, I don't think it could have been believed as when we presented and said,
we have one last piece. And I'll tell you, we were able to show the Vanni Foundation. And the moment we did that, I mean, there was just this beautiful emotion in the room. I mean, it was a physical expression of emotion, and one that just said, this is who we are.
We want to sell the culture. We want to sell the actual brand. We want to sell what we stand for. And that phrase that we use is better together.
If you look through the name, if you look through the brand, you see the hearts of the people. And not everyone will see that on the outside, but that's why we get together and we get to celebrate moments like this, because from where we've been to where we came was done with intention and with purpose. And there's a story that is continuing to be written through this company that I truly believe is going to set it apart for decades to come.
What I've learned over the years is I have no idea how team members are going to react to anything.
Oh, I thought they would love it. I think the team really would get what we were trying to, where we were trying to go, what we were trying to do.
We were actually excited and nervous at the same time, because we knew a lot of people would like it, we knew a lot of people wouldn't, or thought a lot of people wouldn't. So it was not easy.
I think Nesso, meaning connection, resonates with all of us because we're all connected.
I knew they were committed to our brands and our way of business and our way of thinking and our cultures before. My hope was that they were going to be open-minded enough to see the possibility of our future together.
My worry is they weren't going to have the context, they were only going to have the end result, which was going to cause a lukewarm reception.
The name, that hurt me.
Happy it was Italian.
I personally liked the name. It was not love at first sight.
I was surprised at it at first, and now it seems perfect.
I was a little taken back by it. I didn't really understand.
I was excited.
Oh, I loved it.
I honestly thought it sounded a little funky at first.
It felt like a little disconnect because none of them were there.
Just feeling like not part of it.
Kagan and Sayla revealed it in the morning, first thing, because we spent all day with them the day before. And we were pretty excited about it. We were excited to reveal. We were trying to figure out a way to do it. And
I don't think we did a spectacular job with the reveal. I think we got caught up in our excitement of it and forgot momentarily that everyone has their own view of what was going on.
I wish we took a moment, maybe a few moments, when we heard the name to really think about how this reveal would impact everyone.
I was real excited. We were in the boardroom here, and I remembered that I had a bottle of champagne from 2 or 3 years ago when we first moved in, and we never drank it. And I'm like, ooh, what a great time to get rid of it. I was happy to empty something out of the fridge, and I didn't think of the people in Meriden.
There were some tears shed and some frustration, I think, about the way that it was presented. I don't know that it was about the the reveal of the name itself, but more about how we revealed it and how we brought it to the team.
And even though our name reveal was not our most well thought out plan, we were still so excited to move forward as Nesso Group, having found confidence in our why, and now figuring out how? I'll just leave that there. What's important is that we got through those times together. And now we are so excited to officially become Nesso on January 1st. But the universe seems to always have a different plan.
Hello? Oh, anybody there? You ready to join? Wanna come in and join?
This was pretty well developed and happening, and I was really the last one to the party. It's kind of an interesting story. I had a little sister who unfortunately passed away 8 years ago in a car crash. Our relationship was okay, but never great. It wasn't what it should have been. I was actually in a meeting, like a seminar, about paradigm shifts and resolving conflict. I was with two people I had never met, and they said, describe a conflict and take the opposite position. And I took the conflict with my sister and said, it wasn't great. It could have been a lot better. It was always courteous, but really not what it should have been. And we go through this, and one of the gentlemen in the group says, you think maybe your sister is just trying to get your attention? And what happened at that moment, I had this epiphany, and it came to me, and I had a physical shock that went through my whole body. It was very, very positive shock, and I was so excited. I couldn't wait till this seminar was over, and I was gonna go call her and have coffee. And I get out of the seminar, and my phone was lit up like a Christmas tree. It turned out, at almost that exact minute, she was killed in a car accident. And so that was a very transformational moment in my life. It's relevant to this. So when Matt called me, we came over and we were going to talk about tax returns. And I walked in the room and I just said, Matt, you know what? We're neighbors, we're brother-in-laws. Are we okay? Just started with a simple question. Are we okay? Because it's important to me that we're okay. That was the one thing that I got out of this situation. I really want to make sure all the relationships that are important to me are as strong as they can be, and I'm doing what I can do to make that happen. About 4.5 hours later, we had this amazing conversation. So we talked about the tax returns, and I went home. And about 2 days later, Matt calls me and he says, you know, that was a good conversation. Why aren't we doing this together? What do you think? I said, well, Matt, I just signed my 5-year lease last night, but I talked to my landlord and I was able to get out of that. And then we started to pack up and move, and we were here on January 3rd, first business day of the year. It was a whirlwind. The business opportunity is awesome. That's only a part of it. A really large part, maybe a larger part, is really to improve that relationship along with the ride. I have now an even larger family, people I care about, and those are really a gift. This whole thing, to me, is just a gift from my sister. And so that's how I got here. This isn't just about business to me. This is really about family, an extended family. I'm really excited to have all of you as a part of my extended family.
And so our journey began as Nesso Group. But now we needed to figure out how we were actually going to be better together. And lastly, we're gonna need a bigger boat. And sometimes dreams almost become reality.
Throughout the entire time of merger, trying to figure out how to best connect our teams was a big theme. At some point in the process, I had read in the newspaper an article about Trinity Health taking over space at the Meriden Mall. Several weeks later, as we were having a leadership conversation about space, I went home, fell asleep, had a dream after finding out that Best Buy was leaving the Meriden Mall, that we took over the Best Buy space. I had a dream in the middle of the night. I came back to leadership team meeting the next day, let everybody know kind of as a joke, guys, I had a dream that we moved to Best Buy and all of our people were at the Best Buy spot. And within 24 hours, we were actually touring the Best Buy spot to find out if it worked, with some real intention to find out if it was something that we could do. I think it gave us some good recognition that we were in this together. We needed a bigger boat. We needed more space. We needed connectivity between our teams. And it was really the impetus, even though it ended up being just too far of a stretch for us, it was a good kickoff point for conversations that did lead to some of the things we did do.
And even though that didn't work out, the universe had a different plan, and it led us to conversations that we never thought we'd be ready to have.
If we were told we needed to move during the merger, we wouldn't be sitting here today. It's true. We would have died on the hill, I think.
We would have. There's no way.
There's no question we would have died on that hill. Mm-hmm. And looking back on it, what makes me really happy about it is that nobody ever pushed anybody to go faster. Even when you knew we should do it earlier than the rest of us, it wasn't like, hey, why are we doing this? It was like, okay, well, we're going to try this with everything we have.
We loved that office. I mean, the move from 107 to there was a big move for us. We tried to figure out a way to integrate the teams in the two different areas in two different towns, and it became increasingly more difficult.
I would say the actual timing or the actual suggestion of closing Meriden, as hard as it is to say out loud, was probably my prompting, even though you were already there, you weren't really pushing it. It was me after a couple months of trying to work in both places, feeling like I was really kind of letting people down in both places, where I just came into a leadership meeting and said we need to be in one place. I don't know where that place is. I hope it's somewhat related to Meriden, but I don't think this two places and two locations is working.
Yeah, I think we had ambitions of being able to create a culture even though we were in separate areas, but it became increasingly harder to do that.
The apprehension for us was how established we are in Meriden. We're part of the community. I mean, Dad and Mom, it's 40 years they built the business there, and chamber events and all that. And it felt big to just leave Meriden.
I would say that the hardest part about the change in opinion for me was how quickly we were changing our minds on things that we shared with others that we didn't think we would change our mind on. And then how many times we could go back to our team in Meriden in particular and say, hey, we thought this was what we were going to do, and now we're doing something else, and it's only been a couple months.
Right.
I think it's really special that that group of people came with us. The majority of them came with us from 107, and they were in the room with us when we were telling them about this new building. We had announced to them we bought a building, we're going to build it out, we're going to design it, and we came up with this whole new venture, and everybody just locked arms to keep going.
Ty has said this before, without us getting research and renovating it and building it up like we did and looking as established as we did, I don't think we would be here. I don't think Matt or FLP would have ever merged with us if we were at 107.
Yeah, we felt too small.
It's an important step. It was an important step for us.
It was.
Yeah, people would ask me a lot, like, how could you leave the building you just bought? It's the building that we just bought got us to where we are.
Stepping stone.
Yeah. Throughout the process, I think what we realized is it's not about the place and it's not about the name, it's about the people.
The people, I guess everyone here, the team members.
Man, I mean, the best part is seeing everyone.
The people is the biggest part.
Has got to be the people.
I just like the way everybody comes together.
Absolutely the people.
Obviously the team.
The great people that are working here.
People I get to see every day.
Feeling like I'm working with just like a group of friends.
Being able to come in and have people genuinely care about you.
Having like the opportunity to get to work with a team where people treat this as like part of their life and not a job.
The family oriented, and everyone here is like super friendly. My team members.
The people are great.
Getting to work with a whole bunch of great team members here.
It's really just the people.
Everybody's smiling.
I just think the people.
The people. It's the people and the culture.
And just being here with everybody.
The people.
The people.
The people and the friendships.
The people that I work with. I love my coworkers.
Environment, definitely. Everybody wants to be here.
Absolutely, the team members.
There's a lot of support.
We've got a great bunch of people here.
I finally found a home, not just a workplace.
Many of us have experienced things in the past year on a personal level that we've never experienced. One thing you didn't have to worry about was being at work. You could be wherever you were in a work environment, feel comfortable to have other people around you know that life was part of what was going on. Every meeting had a portion of that, and every person was there to give a hug or a distraction, whatever it was that was needed at the moment. It just seemed like it kept coming from Nesso, from the people at Nesso. When we first started and we put Better Together as our tagline, it was about how we can service a client better because we could do their benefits and their accounting at the same time. We also knew we'd be better together on a personal level, on a human level, but to see it come to fruition so fast, and not just with a few people, but with our entire organization, shows what we are at such a deeper level than any of the service we could ever provide any of our clients. When we talk about people being what we are, it's those acts and those shoulders to cry on and those times where it really proves itself to be true. I've learned that oftentimes people come in and out of our lives at the right time for the right moment. And we often remember the people that stay in our lives and when they came in at the right moment. Sometimes people come in our lives at the right moment but don't need to stay permanently. We have people that come into our lives as an organization that it's really important that they're there while they're there. And for different reasons, they don't grow in the same direction that we do. And I think that has been no different for us. It's probably a little more exaggerated because of our merger and because of the things that we changed. But sometimes we grow in different directions, and there's nothing wrong with that. From the time that we, Trey and Nikki, were little, our parents instilled in us that being servant-minded and helping others in the community was part of what you should be doing. When we talk about legacy, to us, that means the reasons why we were doing what we're doing have to carry forward. It doesn't have to be look the same or be the same work or even serve the same people. But the reasons why we were doing it and the reasons why my parents did it have to carry forward. And as we went through that process, after we had told the marketing team that carrying forward the legacy of service was something that was important to us, they actually came to us with the idea of naming a foundation, a 501c3 foundation, the Vani Foundation, which means God is gracious in Italian, and really fit the servant-minded piece of what we wanted to do. And we will continue to carry forward that legacy through the Vani Foundation by serving those that we can't necessarily serve on a day-to-day basis from the Nesso Group. Being able to go share that mission and passion and excitement around that foundation and what it's going to do with my mom made conversations with her in a time of her life that was difficult really great. And things happen for a reason, timing happened for a reason. I'm so incredibly grateful that because of the merger and the decisions we made around the merger, that foundation was created prior to my mom passing, and now we have the ability to carry forward her legacy of service and helping other people in a way that she got to see before she passed. Our tagline, our motto really has become helping people who are helping people. There's a segment of people out there doing incredibly good work all around our communities who could use a little help with the things that we're really good at. That's right now where we believe we're going to carry forward the biggest legacy from my parents.
When we interview people, we bring people on board, we want people that are passionate to grow, and here's why. So we want a career path of growth for everyone. It doesn't mean an additional degree, it doesn't mean that there's a new title down the road. But having people that want to grow. to be better than they are today is very important to us because that's how we roll. We need to grow and we need to be passionate about the next thing. We will grow. We will be bigger, better, however we want to define that. We want people that want to come along for the ride. Our environment is specifically made to help people get out of their comfort zone. So just the structure and the offerings that we have and things like book club and the lift gym and a lot of things we'll be doing in the future are just to help people grow personally and professionally. Because I think that's ultimately what people really want out of a career is to do the next and to be able to get better at what they do and not be stagnant. And so we do a lot of things here and we will continue to challenge people to be a better version of themselves. We really care about all of our team members and we want the best for them. So I personally believe wellness, and when we talk about wellness, we're not just talking about lifting weights and getting a beach body. This is about mental health and physical health, but also spiritual health. Wherever it is that we can go, or we can challenge people and help them grow as a human and as a person, is going to be embodied in our wellness hub and our wellness program. We have no lines or boundaries that we won't explore or cross to try to help people get to wherever they want to be from a health and wellness standpoint. I think it's important that we all grow. I think it's also important that we all know where we are and what we're good at and what we might not know so well. So we are determined to make sure that we surround ourselves with people of all levels that know things that we don't know, and in a lot of cases know them better than we know. There's at no point in time that we should feel like if we bring someone from the outside that knows more than we do, that it's a negative thing for anybody here. So I think you're going to continue to see us bring people in from the outside that are more skilled than we are in certain areas. We need to embrace the fact that we don't know everything, and at every level of all of us, we can be better. I think what we all need to remember is though even we bring people in from the outside and we continue to expand, people that meet our core values and that care about what we care about will always have a place here. So I think everyone needs to grow with us and keep moving along, but everyone should feel secure in the fact that we're growing together and we're not trying to outgrow people for sure. Here's the really cool part, is that a year ago, we could have never imagined we would have been here today. Couldn't have dreamt it, we wouldn't have written it in a journal, we would never have known. That's probably the most exciting and cool thing to me. And by the way, it's gonna happen again. I have no idea where we're gonna be a year from now, but I can tell you it's gonna be super cool. And I'm excited to go there with all of you.